Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, the 26th of April, 2017. Now, of course, the election's gaining momentum. There are all sorts of people out there trying to get your votes. You get leaflets through your door saying, vote for me. Here is my address. Here is my email address. Or they might knock on your door. So we've got to have good questions, haven't we, on the tip of our tongue that we can ask these people. In fact, I think we should be sending them emails and letters asking questions like the ones I'm about to give you as examples. This will help educate them, because not many of them know what's what, really and truly. With all respect to them, of course, they don't know a great deal. And perhaps if you started asking them questions that are real, it might help. We hear, for example, of UKIP saying they want to ban the burqa. I mean, that is a pointless thing to say. It really doesn't get to the root of the matter at all. It doesn't say anything. It just irritates people, all sorts of people. What comes next after banning that, ban this, I mean, come on, for goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so look, I've got, it's divisive, isn't it? So why don't we ask these people who are going for these positions of office some real questions? And here's some examples. In fact, I'm going to do several of these videos, loads more questions, if I have time. Here's one question. When will you be advising the men and women of your constituency how you propose to re-establish courts of law as opposed to administrative courts which are designed to do nothing more than incarcerate and charge innocent people? And of course they are very useful for being engines of fraud. It's a good question. I think it's a reasonable question. Gets to the root of the matter about the country's law situation, which is falling apart. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. When will you be advising the men and women of your constituency that you will be ensuring that the judges act under their oath of office, which they're obligated to do, but do not as they work independently servicing corporations, including UK corporation? How about that for a question? Get them under the oath of office. When are you going to start saying, get under the oath of office? Our judges need to act under the oath of office. What's all this about these administrative courts? They have no subject matter jurisdiction, witnesses and everything else. When are you going to do something about that? If they did something about that, that'd be far more effective than banning burqas or any other ridiculous promises that these political parties are making. Here's another question, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you ask these questions very politely. You're not going to be rude to these people, okay? Because they're people like us. Now, when will you be advising the men and women of your constituency? What date? Give me a date. I want to know the date that you will be implementing, from which you will be implementing tight border and customs and excise controls at all ports and airports, of course. At all ports, particularly Dover, which has been completely destroyed. When are you going to be implementing tight border customs and excise controls at all ports, airports and so on, particularly Dover, to the same rigorous levels as, for example, Saudi Arabia? Where Prince Charles goes to visit. And the country that calls itself Israel. Has very, 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 very efficient and severe border controls in Israel, and yet so many of these men and women going for office support Israel. So why not start following their example in that respect? Okay, the next question. No other countries, including China, Pakistan, India, Japan, Russia and so on, have free movement of people. So why is Europe being deliberately destroyed, undermined and imploded by an open border mass immigration policy when none of these other countries have it? You know, it's a good question, isn't it, to ask? It's reasonable. It's important. You think, you know. Anyway, here's another one. When will you abolish, okay, when will you abolish foreign investment into the property market in our country, you know, the private property market, for homes and so on? When will you abolish foreign investment into the property market in our country when it is prohibited in more or less all countries outside the EU and is also a direct cause of our housing problems? When are you going to stop that? And in fact, I think it's something to look into. What is is it lawful to sell off property to foreigners in our country? Well, yes, that's a good thing to look into. You can do some research yourself on that one. But you know, when are you going to, you might ask them, when are you going to abolish this? To keep coming in, buying all our property, all our houses and everything. Right. Okay, how about this? Going up from sort of private property, you know, housing and so on, to the other level, you know, infrastructure and so on. When will you abolish the selling off of our country's infrastructure and public property to foreigners who have no allegiance to our country? And those foreigners, of course, also foreign corporations, foreign banks, everything. When are you going to stop selling it off or being controlled by, so it's controlled by foreign entities? When are you going to stop that? Yeah? You might as well kick out Italy while you're at it. You know, that NGO that's to do with UN Agenda 21. Well, it's a good idea, isn't it? We've got a big giant, what's it called? Power station, all foreign owned, foreign investment, when those people who are going into that have no allegiance to our country whatsoever. So when are you going to do something about stopping that? Hey? Right, okay. How about this? When will you correct the lie, and it is a lie, ladies and gentlemen, that foreigners are citizens? They are not citizens, they are aliens, or denizens at the very best. And they do not have the rights of natives. Yes, of course, they are protected under the law, under the common law, but they do not have the same rights. Okay, so correct the lie. Stop. When you're going to correct the lie that they're citizens, which is a corporate sort of realm anyway, when you can stop doing that and start getting real with us and using the real common law terms, aliens, denizens, natives. How about that? Okay, here we go, there's another one. Another one here for you, ladies and gentlemen, and it is, when will you be restoring, sorry, yeah, hang on a second. Right. When will you be restoring and informing through the media, you know, advertising it, that you do, you're so good at this, or you know, people going for these positions of power. When are you going to be restoring and informing through the media that Great Britain, okay, not UK PLC or the UK, which is a corporation, when will you be restoring and informing through the media that, actually it shouldn't be when will you be informing through the media and advertising the fact with a giant loudspeaker that Great Britain, not UK PLC or the UK, which is a corporation, that Great Britain, the country, is a Christian country rooted in the common law, which is rooted in the Bible and Christ's teachings, which is the framework, provides us with the framework, which is the Constitution. So when are you going to start advertising through the media that that is the status of our country, the true status? And when are you going to do something about restoring us, helping to restore us to that true position? setting aside the corporate lingo and get more to what our country is about, not the corporation. How about that for a good question? Here's another one. When will you ensure that those who go for public office are aligned with our Christian culture and faith? When will you ensure that? Those who go for public office, because it's a Christian country, are aligned with our Christian culture and faith. When are you going to do that? What's the point in living a lie and pretending it's a multicultural country, which is anathema to the unity in any country? You know, when are you going to do it? When are you going to make sure that we're aligned to the Christian faith? Just as, you know, I mean, so many people in this country go for these positions. They're Zionists. They like Israel. Israel has only Jews in positions of power, or those who follow Judaism. Saudi Arabia only has Muslims, but nobody's up in arms about them. Why do we have to have this giant mix when we are a Christian country? How can anyone be in a position of authority in our country and not be aligned with its faith and with its culture? How can they work effectively? They can't. Good question to ask them. When are you going to do something about that? Okay, here's another one. I think it's the last one. It is the last one, ladies and gentlemen. When will you advertise that this country is a common law country that operates under Christian values? Similar to the previous question. But when are you going to do it? It's a Christian country. It's rooted to the law. The law that you're undermining, by the way, when we refer to the first question, with all your administrative courts and these judges who keep going into positions, sitting up there with their clothes on, taking up this authority position, assuming it, or presuming it, assuming it, and presuming it. You know, without any, but not being in accord with their oath. These are the sorts of questions we should be asking, I think, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get more questions over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to get more questions, and no doubt the questions will get better and better as I get used to it. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the day, whatever it is you're doing, and speak to you soon.